Yo, 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 what's up, y'all? You are listening to the Lazarus Affect podcast, and I am your host, Lazarus Ross. Let's grow. Let's go. Awoo! Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? It's your boy, Laz, and we're back with another episode of the Lazarus Affect podcast, and this time, I have my friend, fellow Condor coach, Wami Aboagye, and she is a human design practitioner. And today we are going to talk about her journey, her story, and why she is so passionate about human design. If you don't know, human design is a framework that uses astrology to tell people and show people deeper aspects of their personality, how they operate with their individual human design. I have found it extremely useful. So you're going to hear this one. She may be the first person you hear on my podcast with human design, and I have another one I'm going to be dropping as well. But Wami, what's up?
What's up? Hi, everybody.
How you doing today?
I'm well. Can't complain.
Alrighty. Thank you for coming and being here and being open to sharing yourself with the people who listen to this podcast.
No problem. I'm excited to be here.
Awesome. So just share where you want to start. Like, how did you come about to be where you're at right now in coaching with human design? What made you lean into it? Just share kind of your story of how you got started.
I don't know where to start. I'm originally from Detroit. I live in Colorado right now. But when I was in Detroit some years ago, I got introduced to the spiritual program called The Realms. And that, by birth, I am Jessica. And I went through that program through a spiritual initiation. And that's kind of how I got to Wami. And in that program, we had a mild, very low-level introduction to human design. I had started studying astrology. I was really deep into that. And I found this human design. And I remember the first thing I read was that I was an emotional manifesting generator. And the first thing that hit me was the emotional part, because I had did my deep dive into astrology, learning just how emotional I really was. And I'm like, oh my God. And at this point in my life, my emotional stability was at an all-time low. So I'm like, okay, here's this emotional thing hitting me again. Like, what is this? What do I do with all of this? And so per my design 5-1, I started deep diving into what it's like to be an emotional authority. And so that was my introduction to human design. And it's literally been a roller coaster after that of deconditioning. And if you really know human design, like the first 3 years of your deconditioning process is literally like a whirlwind, because it's breaking down everything that you've been, constructed to believe, and all your conditioning is being broken down. So as I'm getting ready to exit that 3-year process now, I'm like, okay, things are finally starting to, line up. But it was really a process of going through personal life experiences, like, difficult relationships, domestic violence, suicidal thoughts and ideation. All of those things would really push me into going through the process of like self-discovery, because I had no way to identify these things that I was feeling. Like, what does this mean? What do I do with it? I can't just be out here like this. I need some understanding of what this is. And so that's kind of what led me to that.
Okay, cool. Thank you for sharing that. So you said it, you mentioned about being an emotional authority and a manifesting generator, a 5-1. And, for those who have no idea what that means, you want to give I know it can get lengthy, right? There's a lot to it, right?
Lots.
You want to share just the kind of brief overview about what all of that means?
Yeah, for sure. So, basically in human design, just like in astrology, you have things that you identify as, you could be a Virgo sun, Pisces moon, Libra rising, these different kind of aspects that describe who you are as a person. Human design is in some ways similar, whereas there are profiles, there are aura types, there's different channels, gates, and circuitry that really help you understand who you are as a person based on these different characteristics. This is how you might express yourself.
Yeah.
And so being, an emotional manifesting generator, I'm an emotional authority. I'm a 5-1 profile. I'm a manifesting generator as an aura type. There are different aura types that describe how you are to live in correctness in the world. Be it, are you an initiator? Are you a responder? Are you here to guide? These different characteristics of human design help you understand how you are to, be in correctness here in this lifetime.
Thank you. That I found it to be extremely important to understand these things. I know before I came across human design, I started to learn a bit about it. Mm-hmm. And my life, I was operating like a manifester or a manifesting generator, and I'm a generator, one that does not initiate. I'm a wait to respond. Mm-hmm. So I noticed once I got into understanding human design, a lot of the hiccups that I had in business or any other area started to become, it peeled back and helped me really understand, oh, no wonder that didn't work, because I kept trying to act like that. And it was, I think a lot of us have been conditioned to act a certain way. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when you say deconditioning, I hear unlearning. Is that what you've been going through this last 3-year process that you spoke of?
Yes. And so just to bounce off of what you said, you were acting as an initiator. And as a generator, one of the things that generator children are really usually born into this world with is the conditioning of becoming a manifester, because they're telling you, you need to be doing this, you need to be doing this, get up and do this, go get this. That's a natural conditioning process of a generator child. We're always told to go, do when we are really here to be in response to things. And so that is something that a lot of generators, most of us discovered this in our 30s historically because of when it came about. And we were 30 years into conditioning and thinking we're supposed to attack everything and seek it and go get it. When you go get it, you move out of the way of alignment for it to come to you. You're here in response to things. So, yeah. Also, I'm right-minded, so I forget everything. What question did you just ask me?
I just asked about the deconditioning process, unlearning.
Yes. So deconditioning is definitely unlearning. Like I just said, we spend most of our years being conditioned to do society's normal steps or whatever. Right. And so when you come to like deconditioning, it's literally unlearning, but not just on a mental level. It's really on a body level, unlearning what it's like to operate in a certain space for so long. And it's very difficult because you can unlearn something in your mind easy, really. But right. For your body to program to do something, you have to literally rewire yourself. So you have to unlearn and then relearn how to operate in, like we call it, correctness, what is actually correct for you.
Yeah, for those listening, when she says the body, the context of that is, our nervous systems are a circuit board. And after so long of doing things a certain way, that circuit board is programmed to do things a certain way, so that we have to not just learn in our minds, we got to tell our minds, hey, my body's going this way now, so the body can catch up to what the mind and the emotions actually know.
And yes, and also understanding that what you think your mind knows, a lot of time it doesn't. It is not here to be your primary decision. It's not your decision maker. Mm-hmm. If you are a pure generator, your sacral is your decision maker. So when it comes to the knowing of the mind, it's here to conceptualize and process. That's it. It was never supposed to be the decision maker. So when we make a lot of decisions from the mind, when you spoke to your initiation, or that was a mental process, because the mind is easily conditioned. And so your mind is making decisions based on the conditioning that we get either from universal conditioning, transits, or upbringing, relationship. It's being conditioned 24/7 constantly. So can you really trust that conditioning? Are you trusting the actual the body that your true decision maker, which is your body?
Right. Yeah. So, yes, I that makes a total sense because for forever I was doing that. I was being logical with my decisions. Oh, this makes sense, and that's not how I make the best choices. Best choices for me are, hey, like you said, sacral. I go there and I listen, and then I do that, even though if it's illogical. And for me personally, the most times I've had the most traction or most success is when I respond to something based on that instead of making it make sense all the time, trying to force it because it makes sense. I want to share this because this is something that you shined a light on for me big time when we were at Condor last time. You were teaching a class, and you were teaching a class about the emotional authorities, the difference between generators, and you started talking about projectors. And my son is a projector. I'm a pure generator. His mom is a manifesting generator, and his sister is a manifesting generator. And what's interesting is I used to question, man, why does my son like to go in his room so much? And he sleeps longer than everybody else. He can go to sleep at the same time. But, on a weekend, we'll be up early. We'll get 8 hours of sleep. We're all up. And he's 10 hours, 11 hours of sleep and coming out the cave. I used to wonder like, hey, what's going on here? And you shared about the difference of, I was wondering why that happened. And then you enlightened me to why this is. And it made a whole lot of sense. And it's been a huge shift for me personally with just knowing that, hey, there's nothing wrong with him. He's not depressed because he's staying in his room. He actually needs to be over there. Do you want to, would you share with everyone how you broke that down for me? And why is it that in a house full of generators, the projector son is doing that?
Yeah, absolutely. So when you are using names like generator, manifesting generator, projector, you're speaking to aura types. And all of the generator and manifesting generator aura types have what we call a defined sacral, meaning you have a motor that allows you to exert a certain amounts of energy. Your son does not possess that. As a projector, he does not have a sacral. And so it's not that he can't do things, but as an aura type, like a projector aura type, they tend to need a lot more rest. Their naps are crucial. They need a lot more breaks. And also because we speak to, if when you learn human design, you'll see you have a chart, which is called a body graph. And when you speak to the body graph, a lot of times, not always, they have a certain amount of openness, undefined spaces. And when you guys are around, who are probably, you have a lot at a basic level explaining energy, it can be a lot for him because his body doesn't possess that amount of energy. And so, for a lot of times for projector children, they are projectors. They're going to, you know what I'm saying? You're going to see a lot of things about yourself and who you are being around them. They can naturally just shine a light on a lot of things, just for you. And so for him, it's probably exhausting to him to try to, for instance, you guys are always on the go. You probably want to go, do, move, be. And he's like, I physically just don't have it. But as a child, he doesn't know how to tell my mom and dad, I can't go with you. I might throw a tantrum. I might cry. I might get upset. I might want to go in my room because as a child, and especially if it's a child to an unaware parent, they don't know how to express this. They don't have a understanding of what is going on in their body like that. So when we talk about parenting and correctness, is honoring your child's design. Like, okay, we're all ready to go, but he can't go. So does this mean somebody comes to babysit? He stays here. Do we adjust the timing? Is he nocturnal? Is he more up at night? Needs to sleep more during the day? You just never know. So it's learning those different things about your child to be able to honor who they are, because human design is basic. Is all about individuality. No two people are the same, even born on the same day, same time, down to the second, it matters.
Right.
you're going to operate differently, and just honoring that individuality. That's really what human design is all about.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And when
Yeah.
you talk parenting and human design, it's been helpful here with, sharing the little bit that I know that because obviously, I know very little when it comes, because there's so much to it. But just knowing that I'm a generator and my wife and my daughter are emotion. I'm a pure generator, wait to respond. And wife and daughter are emotional manifesting generators.
Mm.
XJ is an emotional authority projector. So
so you're in the house with all emotional authorities?
yeah, I'm the only one that's not. Why
That's
is
fun
that?
for you, isn't it?
What's up? What'd you laugh at? Why is that funny?
Because for my travels in human design, I have a special place in my heart for emotional authorities. I am emotional authority. It has been my biggest learning curve in this existence.
Yeah.
Depending on what your, emotional definition looks like and how it's expressed. But at base level, you have a different walk. Even if you're a projector emotional, you can be emotional manifester, emotional generator, no matter what. If you are emotional, your walk just looks different. Ra even talks about that. Like you can have emotional authorities have some of the hardest experiences here on this plane just because of how it's experienced for them. And the waiting is so real of an emotional authority. It's not optional. We can think we can, not have to wait, but that is not optional. You will make so many incorrect decisions not waiting. And the wait can be forever sometimes. It can be overnight at minimum. Like, for instance, somebody asking, you want to go to the beach tomorrow? In that moment, yeah. Because even for your sacral defined beings, it feels good. Like, yeah. Mm-hmm. But it can change tomorrow because the mood of some of those gates in the emotional solar plexus are so real. The mood can most definitely turn to an absolutely not by tomorrow. So it's deeply encouraged to wait to respond, even waiting a day. Sleep on it. Sometimes some decisions take months. Some might take years.
Yeah.
You never know. But the understanding is that the point of the wait is to get to emotional clarity. And until you get that clarity in your body and you feel the clarity, not in a mental clarity, you feel the clarity in your body, then the decision should not be made, no matter how inconvenient it is for the other person. Because for you who are sacral, you have a relatively quick, yeah, that's it. Your wife does not. No matter how you do, she does not. And she can't change that.
And you know what's crazy is for a long time, it was before I knew anything about human design, the frustration or not understanding what it is and why she's that way. Like we go shopping, we go out somewhere, right? And we're looking for something for the house. She wants to go to all these different stores. I want to go look. I'm like, it's right here on Amazon. It's right here. We can buy it right now. Nah, I want to go to Bed Bath and Beyond. I want to go to the home store. I want to go over here and go over there. And that used to get on my nerves, yo. Really. It used to get on my nerves. I'm like, why is this happening? But then I kind of just said, hey, that's her personality. I let it go. But also now understanding human design, it's like, oh, interesting. Also, this summer, we were going to move. Me and wifey talked about it. We were thinking, oh, the school systems, what this and that, right? So we started looking. We told the kids at first they have three cousins who live 2 minutes away, friends in the neighborhood. At first they were resistant, and then they were like, yeah, let's go. So we started looking for houses. We looked at 5 or 6 different places. We were getting ready to pull the trigger to move. And then the kids were upset. All of a sudden, they're like, don't want to move. Like, I'm talking, like, where did this come from? But this was before I knew really about the emotional authority and that wave of how emotional authorities go through what they feel about a situation. And, well, long story short, we had a conversation with the kids. We listened, and we said, yo, we'll stay another year. And that was before I really knew about the emotional wave. I'd done some stuff on my own human design and understood that, but not others.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting how that moves through people.
Yeah, the wave of an emotional authority is so real, but like I said, that's the thing that is closest to my heart because it's a deeply misunderstood process
Mm,
by and understand like 51% or so of the planet is emotional authorities. So imagine all the chaos happening because people are initiating and doing all these things and then the other, so at 70% are generators. So you got people out here incorrectly initiating things from a space of no clarity at base level, understanding
right.
how much chaos that can create. And so just such a misunderstood process because the wave has been deemed, it has such a negative connotation because the wave can be extreme. You see
Yeah.
me a lot about it. I post about it every chance I get because
Right.
I really am experiencing these things and I have been deemed, dramatic, too emotional, too much, a lot of those big terms that emotional authorities get because they're just understood in their process and not really respected for their individuality.
Right.
So I always encourage people to just, let that person's wave is solely that person's wave. It's just, you don't have to do anything but either get out the way. If they invite you into the wave, go in graciously, understanding you're not the driver. You are just the passenger. If you
Yeah.
have the ability to ride. But you don't have to. You're not
Yeah.
emotional. But for those that are non-emotional, understanding it's not yours to possess. So it's not yours to fix. It's not yours to alter. You can exit at any time. You're just the passenger. That's the relief that you get. Her wave, you can sit in it with her,
Yeah.
but you don't have to do anything but be present in it.
It's so interesting you say that because the example I used earlier about shopping for something for the house, I used to go, she would be like, "Want to come with me?" And back I would go. And then I'd be like, "Let's go here, let's go there, let's go here, let's go there." I had to learn to stop going. Just let her go do her thing because she would go all these different places. And then, in most cases, come right back to the first thing. I was like, this is it right here.
Yeah.
Or the first thing that we looked at. And she done spent 2 or 3 hours running around because she wants to compare and look and all this different stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The choice is the thing that we looked at first. And for me, I was like, I told you. And
Yeah.
now it's just like let her run, let the course run, and I don't make the course wrong, and I don't have any frustration. It's just like let her do her thing.
Exactly. It's her way. You
Yeah,
want to ride, but if you don't,
yeah, I'm a chill.
yeah, and that could be understood on multiple levels, even down to like, the deeply emotional experiences she may go through where she, is crying or, I don't know how she's expressed hers and her correctness or not, but, understanding that's been a large thing. I feel like that would save so many emotional, non-emotional relationships, just the understanding that the wave is not yours. You don't have to own it, fix it, or alter it. You're just,
Yeah,
if you are being invited to be, or asked to respond and be present inside of it with that person is the driver. It is their wave. So you
yeah,
can enter it, and in your correctness, you enter it by just writing without
heard.
judgment.
Right.
Sorry.
You good? Appreciate that. So, what about
Yeah.
the numbers that you mentioned? You said 5-1 profile.
Yeah.
What's that?
That's just your profile. So there are 6 lines, and you can possess on the body mind side of it 2 of them. So I'm a 5-1, meaning 5 personality, 1 design, like that. But yeah, that's a long explanation, but those numbers really help you again deeper understand our characteristics, who you are. So I am like a heretic investigator because the 5 is the heretic, the 1 is the investigator. So yeah, those numbers just kind of help you deeper understand who you are and how you express, how you relate, how you are, to be present in the world, that type of thing.
Yeah, I'm a 6-2 role model hermit.
Oh, I love y'all.
What's that?
That was my sarcasm. Like, oh, I love 6'2s. No, I'm joking.
Oh, for real?
I'm joking. That was just me being slightly silly. But
What is
six
that?
two.
Go
What
ahead.
does that mean?
What I mean, I know what 6'2", I know what it
Yeah,
means, but when you say that, like, I'm just curious what makes you say something like that because of a profile of somebody's
that's
number.
that's my deep own personal experience with six line being. Um, I've had a lot of interactions with six line beings before Saturn return, and
Okay.
so that, as you know, as a six line being, you are in your time to bump into things phase before 30. So as a 6'2", you experience your life as a three line for 30 years before you then get on the roof to take, a gander at your experiences and look and, begin to process and start to see the things that you really want, need to, be around. And then you become, you
Right.
build yourself up to become that role model at 50. So for six lines before Saturn return time, it's a lot of bumping around and it can be a lot. And then as a two, just as a two, like it's the hermit line, sometimes they need a lot of space. They need a lot of understanding. You have to be, gracious. They can be really, while they're very seen, everybody can see them. They are back like this. They have to be pulled out. So, it's kind of a, mm-hmm.
Be a role model and a hermit.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's a thing.
Yeah, I know. So I want to share that there was another person at Condor, and I had a conversation, and we were talking about content and all of this different stuff. And I told her what I was doing, and
Mm-hmm.
she was like, "You don't need." She was like, "You don't need to be trying to do that. You're a role model. You are the content." And that, hearing that was a big like weight off of my shoulders because it made a lot of sense to me. I mean, I had a visceral emotional breakthrough when she said that to me.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah. So, in my experience, folks listening, understanding things like human design, I know my old conditioning, how I was raised, super religious, you know, don't listen to that. The astrology and the stars and all of that, that's evil. I just want to
Right.
say, how could somebody learning how people operate based on the sun, the moon, and the stars be evil or devilish or whatever somebody wants to label it like that when, quote, God or the creator made everything? How could, if God made the stars and made the planets and all of this stuff, and somebody finds a system to be able to read read it, how could that be devilish? To me, that just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. I got one better for you. Went deeper than that. So I laugh. Now I grew up in a very Baptist home, church every Sunday. My father was Jehovah Witness. It was
Yeah,
a lot of religious conditioning. But for those people, I invite them to look deeper because the Bible is astrology. I know people who there's so much astrology in the Bible. It's insane. Like, where do
um,
y'all think they got it from?
I would love to have this conversation. I ain't
Like,
never heard.
where do y'all think? It's like, and I don't want to take from one of my good sisters. Her name is Armetria.
Yeah,
She has, we've talked, and she is somebody who she knows the Bible like the back of her hand.
yeah.
Even one of the guys at Condor, I forget his name. I met him in the first round that I went there. He also talked about a lot of how we started the Bible and how we learned it in its feminine aspects. It's so much, but because we've taken it for a literal stance, like it's
Right.
literal.
Like history.
There were like 12 disciples, like there are 12 zodiacs. It's so much deeper. Jesus was like a Pisces. You know what I'm saying? If you get really, I don't want to take this. I didn't get this from myself. I got this from my good sister. I would love to have her explain this because I don't want to take credit for it, but it's so deep. And so, but again, that's conditioning. That's what conditioning is. Religion is conditioning. Like, I don't want to get on my soapbox about that.
Of course, yeah.
So I'm not one to argue religion or anything about that or tell anybody you need to believe astrology or human design. When human design was brought, forth, it was just described as an experiment. You have
Right.
the free will to experiment with this knowledge, if you will. If it does not suit you, don't apply. It's that simple. It's nothing more, nothing less.
Yeah. You've been speaking of hold on, you said Pisces. You said somebody was a Pisces. Who?
Jesus.
Uh-uh.
But again, I'm not going to go that deep because that's a
I have
whole nother conversation.
on your good sister you was talking about because
Yeah. Yeah.
I went through my own personal journey with stop choosing to no longer be religious or subscribing to the label of being a Christian. And when I did, there was a lot of anger and completely shoving it away. Like I don't want to hear no prayers. I don't want to hear no Bible, nothing. Like I was like, get it all away from me. If it has anything to do with praying or the Bible, that's conditioning. So now I've gone through that process and I don't have all that anger and really being mad at myself based on the choices that I made because of how I was conditioned. I'm more open to seeing all of the good that is in the Bible because it is one of the greatest metaphysical books out there. And
Absolutely.
I'm very curious to see how people see all these other aspects of things in the Bible and how we can, instead of shunning it, be able to bring it together to see what the Bible has in common with the whatever the Buddhist text, the Muslim text, the Bhagavad Gita, all these different religions and all these other systems that aren't technically religions. I like to see that stuff. Oh, it done slipped my mind what I was about to ask you.
It's okay.
Oh, you've been speaking a lot about surrender on
Mm-hmm.
been saying this a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Is this an emotional authority thing, or what are you speaking to when you talk about that? Now, I ask because, well, me personally, being a wait to respond, I'm reconditioning my body to live that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I made a post the other day, and it hit me hard. And I recently listened to a book called The Surrender Experiment by a gentleman named Michael Singer. And I'm on my second go around. I'm almost done with it the second time in a week. And that book was last Sunday. I had a visceral, emotional. There's only two books that were while I was consuming the book, I've had a visceral, emotional release. This is the second one.
Okay.
Because how he was speaking about how he's just surrendered to life and the all of the huge stuff that he created by this surrender experiment. And you also said a minute ago that human design was an experiment. So I would like to know what you've been speaking to specifically around surrender. Is it a emotional authority thing that you've been speaking to, or what?
So, from a human design standpoint, surrender is not about an emotional authority. Surrender is just about correctness. When we talk human design, again, you are not the driver.
Right.
You are in the vehicle, but you're not the driver. So, the only way for you to really, enter that correctness is through surrender. Because if you don't surrender to the process, you end up driving it into literally the dirt. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You don't know, you've not done this before at a base level understanding. How would you know? So from a mental standpoint, so the surrender speaks to getting outside of your mind and just getting in your body and allowing the experience to actually be what it is. We oftentimes go into the experience with these expectations that we've created in our minds,
Yeah.
and we begin to drive ourselves into these places that were never designed for us to really be there. And so we end up with all of these new built-in traumas and all. Again, things are supposed to happen, and we need certain traumas. They are built into our experience, but all of that to say that surrender is not for emotional authority. The surrender is for humanity. It is for
Period.
all. The surrender is not really optional. You cannot do it, but life will generally break you down. I don't know how long it's going to take, but the surrender is really not optional. You can continue to fight it and you can continue to bump, or you can just surrender to it.
I know I ain't.
Done, but
I already went through the bumps. I went through the. Nope. I sent myself in a whole depression trying to control shit.
Yeah, and I'll say this about surrender, and this is a revelation I had myself the other day. Surrender is not mental. Even when you think you surrender, there's more surrender to go. And I learned that the very hard way, because understand something, like you keep talking about your visceral, emotional responses.
Yeah.
You know, you can surrender in your mind, but if you're at a cellular level, if your body is not surrendered, it doesn't matter.
Right.
It doesn't matter. You can know all day in your mind, I'm surrendered. I don't need anymore. But that body feeling, your body, if the cells of your body have not surrendered to a feeling, to an understanding, it don't matter. It doesn't matter. But
when it comes to that, how would you encourage someone to lean into that?
So many different ways. I mean, we how we met at Condor,
Right.
we'll be there for it. You know, using those different. I always encourage, or I'll say, I invite people to look into that information to see if that that technology is supportive in your surrender. I know it has been for a lot of people.
Right.
Honestly, it's different for everybody. But for me, the surrender has come through learning myself, through my self-discovery process, and giving myself sitting with myself and giving myself the space and the radical acceptance of who I am, and allowing myself to just really sit in that and exhibit whatever that is. Whatever that is. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you, Wami.
Yeah, for sure. This is nice.
Do you have anything that you would like to leave the people with?
I don't know. I could talk for hours, so I'm not going to dig too deep. I just invite people to approach the experiment with openness. I tell everybody that, no expectations, because 9 times out of 10, it's going to break you before it builds you. It's designed to do that. Allow it to break you emotionally, mentally, spiritually, all of those things. Allow the breaking. The more you fight the breaking, the longer it takes. Allow it to break you. Surrender to the break. Find grace in the breaking. That's it.
Cool. On your post, I see that you have a group that you run with women, right?
Yep.
Do you all support men or no?
So, you know what? This is like, I've been getting this question, and my design specifically does support women. I have no opposition to support men, and one of my partners, we are working on that. But I am somebody who is big on relation, and so I understand that for it to be relatable, there needs to be a man present as well. And so I have not come across the person, for me, a person who I have felt comfortable in that space to share that kind of environment with. But we're working on that. For sure. Those men to feel that same comfort that the women feel.
I haven't personally met, maybe I have and didn't know it, but I haven't met somebody that is a man that I knew is a human design gangster. All of them I've met and know about are women.
Yeah.
I do know that there are some, but I haven't met them and I don't know. Cool. So how do people want to work with you? People want to get a reading, or they would like to understand at a deep level their human design. How do they get in contact with you? How do they do that?
So, I mean, I'm on Instagram, Facebook. My Instagram is long, the Ethereal Empress. I don't know if you can post that, but it's
I'll put it in the description.
Awesome. Yeah. So it's the Ethereal Empress. And then my name on Facebook is, again, Wami Aboagye. So yeah, I always post about all of the classes for the ladies that we do once a week to bi-weekly. So yeah, that's how you can find me.
Yeah, is your group on Facebook a paid group?
No, my Facebook group right now is a free group. I do have a paid container coming um, that I'm going to be hosting with two other amazing spirits, and we are doing a full transformative experience for women in the human design space, and that'll be coming in December. So I'll be posting about that really soon.
Well, what's the name of the Facebook group? I'll make sure I drop that in the description too.
It's I'll text it to you, but it's called Ladies Let's Chat.
Okay, bet.
Yeah.
All right, yo, that's what's up. Wami, thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Hey, y'all want to work with Wami or dive deeper on this stuff? Check the links in the description and you can find it there. We'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.
Peace.
I appreciate you coming through and listening to the podcast. If you haven't already subscribed, please go ahead and do that. And if you know somebody else this podcast can help, share it with them. Let's go. Let's grow. Aua.